The drama surrounding Charlie Kirk, his widow Erica, and political influencers just took a shocking turn, in a revelation that has fans and media buzzing. Joe Rogan has reportedly dropped a bombshell about Candace Owens' warning to Charlie Kirk, claiming that critical advice was given long before the controversies erupted. According to sources, Owens allegedly alerted Kirk to potential red flags in his personal life, but the warning was either ignored or not fully understood at the time. Insiders say that Joe Rogan's disclosure sheds new light on a situation that has already captivated public attention. Fans are dissecting past interviews, social media posts, and interactions between all parties involved, trying to understand the timing, context, and implications of Candace Owens' warning. The revelation has sparked intense debate online, with some praising Owens for trying to protect Kirk, while others question why he did not take the advice seriously, according to sources. Rogan's comments reveal more than just a warning. They hint at critical insights about personal judgment, trust, and accountability in high-profile relationships. Social media is now flooded with discussions, clips, and commentary as fans attempt to piece together the full story behind Owens' advice and how it might have changed the trajectory of events if Kirk had listened. This bombshell is already causing waves across media platforms, raising questions about influence, foresight, and the impact of ignoring crucial guidance. The public is now left wondering, what exactly did Owens warn Charlie about? And how does Joe Rogan's revelation change our understanding of the unfolding drama? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and the next revelations could completely rewrite the narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk, Erica, and the warnings that were never heeded. The personal and public life of Charlie Kirk has once again become a focal point of controversy, but this time it involves high-profile political commentators and influencers. The latest bombshell comes from Joe Rogan, who revealed critical details about a warning Candace Owens allegedly gave to Charlie Kirk, claiming it could have prevented much of the ongoing drama. According to insiders, Owens had cautioned Kirk about potential red flags in his personal life, warnings that Kirk reportedly failed to act on, leading to a cascade of complications and public scrutiny. Sources close to the situation describe Owens' warning as significant, emphasizing that it was not a casual comment, but rather a serious attempt to alert Kirk to underlying risks. Joe Rogan, who shared this revelation in a recent interview, claimed that Owens' insight came from both personal experience and a concern for Kirk's well-being. Friends and insiders note that the warning was delivered privately at first, but its importance is only now being publicly revealed. The timing of Rogan's revelation is noteworthy. While Kirk has faced intense scrutiny over his personal life, especially concerning his relationship with Erica, Owens' previously undisclosed warning now adds a new layer of complexity. Fans, analysts, and media outlets are racing to understand the context, asking questions about what was said, why it was ignored, and how it might have altered events if he had listened. Social media is already ablaze, with clips from Rogan's podcast and insider commentary shared across multiple platforms. Insiders indicate that the warning from Owens was specific, highlighting behaviors and dynamics that could have had long-term consequences for Kirk. According to sources, Owens' intention was not to interfere, but to protect Kirk from potential personal and professional fallout. The revelation has intensified discussions online about trust, accountability, and the role of outside perspectives in personal decision-making. Charlie Kirk himself is reportedly grappling with the implications of these revelations. Friends say he feels conflicted, recognizing that Owens' advice may have been well-intentioned, while also questioning how the situation escalated despite previous guidance from his parents and others in his inner circle. The combination of parental warnings and Owens' intervention paints a picture of a series of ignored signals, leaving Kirk now navigating both public and private consequences. Observers point out that Joe Rogan's disclosure adds credibility to the narrative that Kirk was warned multiple times. Rogan's platform reaches millions of listeners, and the fact that he publicly confirmed Owens' warning amplifies the scrutiny. Analysts suggest that the revelation could influence public perception, emphasizing that Kirk may have been made aware of potential issues, yet chose to proceed regardless. This narrative resonates because it highlights a universal theme: the tension between personal choice and external advice, particularly in high-pressure or public situations. Friends of Owens describes her involvement as coming from a place of genuine concern. They say she recognized potential risks to Kirk, both in his personal relationship and in the broader public fallout, and attempted to intervene discreetly. Sources suggest that Owens' warning may have touched on behavior, character, or choices that could lead to complications if not addressed, making her caution particularly significant. The story has quickly captured the attention of media outlets. Articles, social media threads, and video commentary are analyzing the timing, content, and impact of Owens' warning, as well as Rogan's decision to publicize it. Analysts highlight that when multiple high-profile voices weigh in on a situation, the dynamics change, influencing both public opinion and the way the individuals involved respond. Fans are dissecting every detail from the phrasing of the warning to its timing, attempting to piece together how events unfolded and why Kirk may have ignored the advice. Sources suggest that Kirk's response to Owens' warning was mixed. While he reportedly acknowledged it privately, he did not act decisively on the concerns raised. Friends say this indecision or dismissal has become a central point of discussion, as it appears to have contributed to escalating tension with Erica's parents and now the broader public. Analysts note that the interplay of ignored advice and personal autonomy is a relatable theme for many, which may explain why the story has gone viral so quickly. The revelation also raises questions about the influence of public figures on private decisions, with Owens, Rogan, and other voices entering the conversation. Kirk's personal choices are now examined under intense scrutiny. Friends close to the situation describe the challenge of balancing personal judgment with advice from trusted individuals, particularly when fame and public attention amplify every decision. This combination of factors has created a narrative that is not only compelling but also emotionally resonant for audiences. Insiders indicate that the ongoing fallout has left Kirk reflecting on how past choices contributed to the current situation. While he is dealing with criticism from both media and fans, he is also navigating familial concerns and the expectations of peers and advisors who attempted to guide him. Sources describe a period of reflection, with Kirk reportedly reconsidering the warnings he received from Owens' parents and others in his inner circle. Analysts suggest that the story is far from over. With Rogan's revelation now public, the dynamics between Kirk, Erica Owens, and other influencers are likely to continue evolving. Every statement, interview, and social media post may provide new insight, fueling discussion and speculation. Friends say that Kirk is acutely aware of how public perception is shifting and is weighing his responses carefully. To minimize further fallout, the unfolding narrative underscores the importance of taking advice seriously, especially from trusted sources. Owens' warning, now validated by Rogan, highlights how external perspectives can offer crucial insights that might prevent personal or professional complications. For Kirk, the combination of ignored parental advice and Owens' cautionary guidance paints a picture of missed opportunities to address issues before they escalated. In conclusion, Joe Rogan's revelation about Candace Owens' warning has added a new layer to the ongoing saga surrounding Kirk. The story now involves multiple perspectives, public scrutiny, and questions about trust, judgment, and accountability. Fans, media, and insiders are dissecting every detail, anticipating how Kirk will respond and what consequences may follow. The unfolding drama is both compelling and cautionary, illustrating the complex interplay between personal choices, outside advice, and public perception. The story surrounding Kirk, Candace Owens, and Joe Rogan has taken a dramatic turn, drawing both media attention and intense fan scrutiny. Sources close to the situation confirm that Owens' warning to Kirk was not casual. It was a serious intervention meant to highlight potential risks in his personal life. Friends of Kirk indicate that Owens approached the situation with caution and care, aiming to ensure that he understood the potential consequences of certain decisions. Her warning, while private at the time, now carries weight as Joe Rogan publicly confirmed it, adding credibility and context to an already complex narrative. Insiders describe the warning as multifaceted, touching on behaviors, choices, and relationship dynamics that could lead to long-term complications. Friends of Owens emphasize that her intervention was motivated by concern, not judgment or personal gain. They note that she believed Kirk might face significant fallout if the issues she identified were ignored, and her guidance was intended to protect both his personal and professional interests. The fact that this warning is now public underscores how delicate and consequential private advice can be, particularly when it intersects with high-profile lives. Social media has erupted with speculation. Fans are analyzing every interaction between Kirk, Owens, and Rogan, attempting to trace the timeline of warnings, responses, and decisions. Analysts point out that this level of scrutiny is common when multiple influential voices intersect in personal controversies, especially when public perception is at stake. Discussions online range from criticism of Kirk's decision-making to admiration for Owens' proactive approach, illustrating the polarized reactions the story has inspired. Sources close to Charlie Kirk suggest that he is grappling with a complex emotional landscape. Friends report that he recognizes the legitimacy of Owens' concerns, yet balancing his autonomy with the guidance he received has proven challenging. This tension between personal choice and external counsel is further complicated by family input, public opinion, and media coverage. Insiders note that Kirk's reflective approach is ongoing, as he attempts to reconcile past decisions with present consequences. Observers also point out that Joe Rogan's public disclosure may have long-term implications for how Kirk navigates advice in the future. By confirming Owens' warning, Rogan has effectively validated concerns that Kirk may have overlooked, potentially influencing how both fans and professional associates perceive his decision-making. Analysts suggest that the revelation may spark discussions about accountability, foresight, and the importance of listening to trusted voices. Friends of Owens describe her warning as specific and actionable, not merely speculative. She reportedly highlighted behaviors and patterns she believed could lead to strained relationships, public scrutiny, or personal complications. According to insiders, her approach was measured and considerate, aiming to empower Kirk with information rather than impose decisions. The fact that Rogan has now publicly acknowledged this advice adds weight to her involvement and underscores the seriousness of the situation. The story has also prompted commentary about the influence of public figures in private matters. When someone like Owens, with her experience and prominence, issues a warning, it carries significant weight. Coupled with Rogan's large audience, the confirmation transforms private advice into public knowledge, forcing Kirk to navigate not only personal reflection but also public interpretation. Friends close to the situation suggest that this dual pressure may have contributed to heightened stress and careful consideration on his part. Analysts note that Kirk's response, or perceived lack thereof, has become a focal point for discussion. Some fans express frustration that he did not act sooner, while others empathize with the difficulty of balancing private warnings with personal judgment. This narrative resonates widely, as many people can relate to situations where well-intentioned advice was given but not fully acted upon, leading to regret or complications. Insiders indicate that the ongoing fallout has prompted introspection within Kirk's inner circle. Friends suggest that he is reflecting on previous guidance from Owens, his parents, and other trusted figures, examining how decisions made in the past contributed to the current scenario. Observers note that this reflection is not only personal, but also public, as every statement or social media post may influence perceptions and future interactions. Media coverage continues to intensify. Articles, video commentary, and podcasts are analyzing Rogan's disclosure, Owens' involvement, and Kirk's responses. Analysts highlight that when multiple high-profile voices intersect in personal drama, public interest increases exponentially. Fans dissect timelines, compare statements, and speculate about motives, creating a constant stream of discussion that keeps the story trending across platforms. Friends emphasize that Owens' warning was grounded in genuine concern. They describe her approach as careful, thoughtful, and considerate, intending to guide Kirk without imposing or dictating choices. Sources stress that her insight was based on observation and experience, highlighting potential risks rather than attacking character or relationships. The combination of private caution and Rogan's public confirmation has amplified the story, turning it into a viral phenomenon that extends beyond politics or celebrity gossip. The unfolding narrative also underscores broader themes of trust, influence, and accountability. Analysts note that ignoring advice from trusted sources, whether family, friends, or respected public figures, can have consequences that are both personal and public. In Kirk's case, the interplay between Owens' warning, parental guidance, and public scrutiny illustrates the complexity of making decisions in high-profile environments, where every action is observed and analyzed. Friends close to the family suggest that the ongoing reflection has prompted Kirk to reassess priorities, relationships, and how he engages with advice from others. Sources indicate that he is weighing both the content of Owens' warning and the timing, considering how earlier actions might have changed the trajectory of events. This period of introspection, while private, is now under intense public observation, adding pressure and complexity to the decision-making process. In conclusion, Joe Rogan's revelation about Candace Owens' warning adds a critical layer to the ongoing drama surrounding Charlie Kirk. The story now involves multiple voices, conflicting perspectives, and public scrutiny, creating a high-stakes narrative that continues to evolve. Fans, insiders, and media outlets are watching closely, analyzing every detail for insight, clarification, and context. The intersection of private advice and public exposure highlights universal themes of trust, accountability, and the consequences of decisions, making this story both compelling and highly relatable. The drama surrounding Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and Joe Rogan continues to intensify as new details emerge about the warnings Kirk received and the potential consequences of ignoring them. According to insiders, Owens' intervention was thoughtful, deliberate, and rooted in genuine concern. She reportedly highlighted patterns in Charlie's personal life that could result in emotional, relational, and reputational difficulties if left unaddressed. Her private warning, which has now been publicly validated by Joe Rogan, has fueled intense discussion across social media, traditional media, and political circles. Sources close to Kirk indicate that his reaction to Owens' warning was cautious but non-committal, while he reportedly acknowledged her concerns privately. He chose to navigate his personal relationships according to his own judgment. Friends suggest that this decision created tension not only with Owens, but also with his parents and other advisors who had expressed similar worries. The combination of ignored guidance has become a central focus of the conversation, prompting analysis of how public figures manage advice from trusted voices. Joe Rogan's public disclosure has added weight to Owens' warning, effectively confirming that serious concerns were raised and that Kirk was made aware of them in advance. Analysts highlight that this revelation underscores the complexity of decision-making in high-profile contexts, where personal choice, public perception, and trusted advice intersect. Friends close to the situation suggest that Rogan's platform has amplified the importance of Owens' input, shifting the narrative from private caution to public accountability. Social media has reacted strongly, with fans dissecting interactions, timelines, and statements. Clips from Rogan's podcast, commentary threads, and insider reports are being shared widely, generating thousands of reactions daily. Many fans debate whether Kirk should have acted differently, while others emphasize the challenges of balancing autonomy with guidance. Analysts note that this discourse reflects universal themes of trust, foresight, and accountability, resonating far beyond celebrity or political circles. Friends report that Owens' warning was multi-layered. She highlighted potential relational red flags, the influence of public scrutiny on personal decisions, and possible reputational consequences. Sources confirmed that her intervention was not confrontational, but aimed at equipping Kirk with insight he could use to make informed choices. The fact that Joe Rogan has now confirmed her warning publicly underscores both its significance and its impact on ongoing discussions. Kirk's response to the unfolding drama has been measured, according to insiders. Friends suggest that he is reflecting carefully on the warnings he received, considering how past decisions may have contributed to the current situation. Observers note that public reflection and accountability are critical in high-profile controversies, and Kirk's approach may influence both fan perception and professional relationships. The broader implications of this revelation are significant. Analysts highlight that the story illustrates the importance of listening to trusted advisors, whether in personal life or professional arenas. When warnings from credible voices such as Owens and family members are ignored, the consequences can extend beyond the individual, affecting relationships, reputation, and public narrative. Social media discussions have amplified this lesson, creating a cautionary tale for followers and fans. Insiders also note that Kirk's family has been closely monitoring the situation. Friends suggest that they view Owens' warning as consistent with the advice they had provided privately, reinforcing the narrative that multiple trusted voices raised concerns that were not fully acted upon. This convergence of warnings adds complexity to the story, highlighting tensions between autonomy, trust, and accountability in personal decision-making. Observers predict that the narrative will continue to unfold as Kirk, Owens, and Rogan navigate public perception, media coverage, and private reconciliation. Friends close to the parties involved report that the focus remains on resolution, personal reflection, and maintaining relationships while responding to public scrutiny. Analysts suggest that the evolving story offers insight into how high-profile individuals manage advice, criticism, and accountability in both private and public spheres. The situation also underscores the broader impact of public figures intervening in private matters. Owens' warning, now amplified by Rogan, illustrates how influential voices can affect personal decisions and public narratives. Friends say that the lesson is clear. Even private counsel can become public discourse, highlighting the need for careful consideration and responsiveness when trusted advice is given. As the conversation continues, insiders indicate that Kirk is considering the broader implications of his past choices. Friends suggest that he is actively weighing the consequences, reflecting on both personal relationships and professional responsibilities. Analysts note that this reflection is crucial in understanding the trajectory of the story, as it influences future decisions, public perception, and media narratives. Social media remains a central arena for discussion. Fans continue to debate, speculate, and analyze every detail, from Rogan's podcast remarks to Owens' private warnings and Kirk's responses. Analysts point out that the rapid spread of information in digital spaces amplifies both scrutiny and engagement, ensuring that the story remains at the forefront of public attention. In conclusion, Joe Rogan's revelation about Candace Owens' warning to Charlie Kirk has intensified an already complex narrative. The story now involves multiple high-profile voices, public scrutiny, and questions of accountability, judgment, and trust. Fans, insiders, and analysts are all closely monitoring developments, anticipating how Kirk will navigate the consequences of ignored warnings, public exposure, and the ongoing scrutiny of his personal choices. The narrative highlights universal themes about the tension between personal autonomy and the importance of listening to trusted advisors, making it both compelling and widely relatable. The revelation that Joe Rogan publicly confirmed Candace Owens' warning to Charlie Kirk has taken the unfolding drama to a whole new level. What was once private counsel is now a major talking point across social media, news outlets, and political commentary circles. The story underscores the importance of listening to trusted voices, particularly when multiple individuals express concern about personal decisions. Fans and insiders alike are dissecting every detail, from the timing of Owens' warning to Kirk's response and Rogan's confirmation. Questions about accountability, foresight, and judgment dominate discussions online, reflecting a broader fascination with how public figures manage both private advice and public scrutiny. Analysts point out that this narrative resonates because it illustrates a challenge. Everyone faces balancing personal autonomy with the guidance of trusted advisors as the situation continues to unfold. Charlie Kirk's decisions, Owens' perspective, and Rogan's revelations will all shape public perception. Fans are eager for updates, interviews, and insider insights that provide clarity and context. The story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of ignoring well-intentioned guidance, emphasizing the delicate balance between independence and counsel. Stay tuned, because this saga is far from over. Every development, statement, or revelation could shift the narrative, uncover new details, and influence how fans and the public view the interactions between Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and Joe Rogan. Make sure to follow closely for exclusive updates, insider insights, and the latest breaking details on this evolving story.